2026. I ask that the record reflect the subcommittee members that are present, as well as the staff that are here with us this evening. First matter on the agenda will be approval of the minutes from the motion to approve them. The motion's been made to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Staff report. Director Willis.
Very briefly, Mr. Chair, and I don't want to take any thunder away from Leah, but she's been working very hard to reschedule the meeting that we had to cancel on January 6th for the Spring Ave extension matter. There's a lot of balls in the air on that, but we are making a lot of progress. Leah's doing a lot of good work in organizing all the different schedules that we have in that particular matter so that we can have continued meetings on Spring Avenue extension. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions of Jeff on that? No? Next will be staff presentation, potential rights of way for subcommittee review. Leah, you hear that? Do we have a light switch?
Yeah, I'll get on.
Yeah.
Sure.
Was that one? It's the one right over it. The switch on. On here, let's hoping we find that one. I mean, we can see Jeff. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Hey, hi, my name is Leah Feldman. I'm a coastal policy analyst with the Coastal Resources Management Council. I, like almost everybody else in the state of Rhode Island, am getting over a cold, so please forgive any coughing from this. I am going to present to you all a couple of rights of ways that I believe to be pretty good candidates for designation over the course of the next couple of months. So between the years of 2023 and 2025, CRMC worked with a number of interns to sort through a collection of old files that had been kept in storage in order to sort through which of the previously categorized quote unquote insufficient evidence right-of-way files might be able to be revitalized with some new research. That term insufficient evidence is used to indicate, I'm going to grab my water bottle just in case I cough. That term is used to indicate sites that the CRMC has looked at previously and has considered for right-of-way designation, but was unable to do so because of a lack of evidence in some way. However, it's possible that given further review, some of those rights of ways could be changed from that current categorization if new evidence was either found or submitted. As Jeff mentioned, there are, excuse me, two rights of ways currently under review by the CRMC's right-of-way subcommittee and legal counsel, one of which is the Spring Avenue extension in Westerly. Several meetings have already been held and more are scheduled. And then the Buttonwoods rights of right-of-way in Warwick, which after a meeting in July resulted in a legal counsel recommendation on continued research into the matter. Despite this demand on the subcommittee's extremely busy schedule, a new right-of-way was designated following two subcommittee meetings in February and April of 2025. And the Everett Avenue right-of-way in Westerly was voted as a designation by the CRMC full council on November 25th, 2025. So there are three rights of ways that we have identified that we can look at to consider further investigation. I'm going to be focusing on the first two on this list. One in Westerly, Rhode Island, which is the Meadow Lane / Water's Edge Road right of way. And then the Scotts Wharf / North Commercial Wharf right of way in Newport. There's a third right of way in Warren that is being investigated, but there will be more information on that one coming soon. So the Water's Edge / Meadow Lane right of way in Westerly. So from 1886 to today, this parcel of land shows continuous documented existence as a public street. It was accepted formally by the municipality in 1891. There's ongoing government recognition and administration regarding this area, and there's a strong legal basis for CRMC designation as a public right of way. So some of the key evidence that is already present supporting the right of way designation is, just to address the sort of slash up front, Water's Edge / Meadows Lane. One of the hurdles that we had experienced previously in this right of way was that there was an official name change of the right of way in 1999 that formally changed the street name from Meadow Lane to Water's Edge Road. There was some confusion about the inconsistencies in sort of older legal research and historical records, but we were able to identify that name change and therefore sort of thread that line through the history of this area. There was a historic public highway dedication of this area in 1891. There are town meeting minutes from that time that explicitly declare Everett Avenue and Meadow Lane, now Water's Edge Road, to be public highways. As I just mentioned, we did recently designate Everett Avenue, and we believe Water's Edge Road could experience the same sort of fast track to designation. So this evidence supports a formal municipal acceptance of the road as public. There are also supporting deeds and plats reaffirming this idea. There's an 1886 plat that shows that Meadow Lane was the former cottage sites of the Everett Farm. Again, Everett Avenue and Meadow Lane were laid out streets. And then there's a deed from 1890 that references the same plat and street layout. These documents show intent to dedicate the road to the public use and also provide early mapping of Meadow Lane as a street. The CRMC has received correspondence from multiple attorneys supporting the designation showcase, just supporting the designation, and these letters showcase ongoing debate and legal positioning around public access rights, municipal authority, and property owner objections. Some parties assert that opposition is being raised by private interests who do not support the right of way, but despite these objections, documentary evidence consistently supports public status. The second right of way I want to present to you is the Scotts Wharf right of way, also known as the North Commercial Wharf area in Newport. Similarly to the sort of timeline I discussed in the Water's Edge right of way. By the way, you've been handed timelines on both right of ways that sort of go through the legal history of each of the documents that we have so far. So for the Scotts Wharf / North Commercial Wharf area, a little bit more modern, more recent, from 1921 to today, evidence collected thus far in our reviews of existing evidence on this right of way show that it is indeed a right of way because it has been proven to be a dedicated public street intended for public use. It meets the criteria for CRMC designation as the combined streets lead directly to tidewaters, which is one of the qualifications. This is an easy designation for the CRMC because there is already a final Rhode Island Superior Court ruling that these streets are public. So as I stated, the documentary evidence consistently supports public status. All that is needed from the CRMC's counsel is a confirmation of an existing court decision. This is the area here in North Commercial Wharf. That decision I mentioned was Newport Realty versus Lynch in 2005, and a subsequent Superior Court judgment recorded in the Newport Land Evidence Records. The ruling confirms that Scotts Wharf and North Commercial Wharf are public streets based on accepted dedication shown on a 1921 recorded plat with later adjustments. So the plat that was recorded in 1921 was adjusted later. So after that judgment was entered, after the 2005 when the Superior Court final judgment was entered, and that document implements the Supreme Court ruling formally declaring Scott's Wharf and North Commercial Wharf to be public streets. And that includes the adjusted right-of-way configuration, which I'll go into in a second. This decision creates a binding final judicial determination and provides direct legal basis for the CRMC to designate it as right-of-way. So our present right-of-way determination will require review of the following. The 1923 plat adjustment. So as I mentioned, there was a slight change to some of these, to the right-of-way, including a parcel exclusion. There's one specific parcel known as Plat 27 Lot 46, where the current Bolin Weddings and Events property are, that is excluded from the right-of-way. And then the eminent domain decision in 1974 changed the layout of some of America's Cup Avenue, which sort of shortened portions of both streets, so shifting their starting point. However, there was then additionally, after that, an abandonment of part of the North Commercial Wharf, which then, it was able to include the street landing area on the harbor side. So all of these sort of changes led to what is now being considered for the actual right-of-way designation. Despite all of this sort of moving around of the plots and lots, the CRMC right-of-way potential exists. The courts have already declared Scott's Wharf and North Commercial Wharf to be public streets. And because of that, we have a really short step to a final declaration of the right-of-way. This is a very rare case for the CRMC where a final court judgment precedes our decision, our designation, making the legal basis really strong. We're not being asked to designate whether a right-of-way exists, but instead to formally designate a right-of-way already confirmed by the courts. It establishes these streets as public, no uncertainty over the occasion acceptance of continuity. So these are just, oh, you can't really see those. Well, you have the timelines with you, but these are just kind of timelines of the two, sort of the travel of each of these legal actions and historical actions in regards to each one of these rights of ways. And then, a sort of finding of the combined effects of each of these histories. So for Scott's Wharf, as I mentioned, it's anchored by a Rhode Island Supreme Court precedent and final Superior Court judgment. CRMC designation would basically be administrative formalization of a settled law. This is, I think, one of the strongest possible cases for a right-of-way designation. And then for Water's Edge Road, Meadow Lane, this one is anchored in a historic platting and formal municipal acceptance of the streets. Very strong, but still more fact-based than judicially resolved already, but it's still a very high confidence right-of-way designation case. So all that's left for us to do, for Scott's Wharf, there's a judicially settled right-of-way, plus our CRMC designation would create formal recognition. For Water's Edge Road, this is a historically accepted public highway with CRMC designation. This would then lead to regulatory confirmation. As I mentioned, the Warren right-of-way that comes third will be discussed some other time. That's it. Any questions? Yeah.
How far is Spring Street from this westerly Water's Edge right-of-way?
I mean, not that far, but far enough.
So Water's Edge, think of it in the Watch Hill area. Spring Ave extension is all the way over in Weekapaug.
Yep.
Near in the western end of Quaney.
About 7 miles.
It's pretty far.
7 miles.
Pretty far.
No one's gonna go down Water's Edge and say, I can.
Not at all. Not at all. No.
Leah, could you just explain to me again what would happen next with Scott's Wharf, since it's basically already settled? Does it come before the subcommittee for this next step, or is that something I heard you say might be done administratively?
I mean, it would, part of the administrative process would be to come before the right-of-way subcommittee. So the subcommittee would review more formally some of the things that I talked about in regards to that right-of-way, and then make a recommendation whether it should be submitted to full council or not.
Well, that is exciting news.
Do you anticipate public comment on that?
I anticipate that we will provide the opportunity. We have a group, a sort of advocacy group in Newport that has supported this for a long time. They're called Friends of the Waterfront.
Mm-hmm.
And they have presented this to the city of Newport previously and not received any specific public feedback or kickback on it. So I would imagine it wouldn't be contentious.
Okay.
And there are no encroachments on that right of way that you know,
Define encroachments.
buildings that are built on it?
No, so there are, kind of as I mentioned, there was this sort of reformation of the right of way that happened because of the sort of reconfiguration of both America's Cup Avenue and then also parts of Thames Street. But as the plat lies now, it is like the right of way is pure. It's not being encroached upon by other buildings.
Anything else to come before us? Or any other questions of Leah? Yes, Rich.
Richard Langseth from Warwick. There are about 10 potential rights of way in Warwick with insufficient evidence. And I'm just wondering how much research you're going to be doing on other rights of way that have been listed with insufficient evidence.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. So this research that we did that led to these two being identified as potential rights of ways to consider next included maybe 150 rights of ways in total, many of which were in Warwick. This is an ongoing project. This will continue to be reviewed and studied and tried. Our goal is not necessarily at the CRMC, and our goal is to get one right of way for every mile of coastline. And that's not something that we expect to be done via new submissions entirely. This process of reviewing the existing information and identifying where the lapses are is part and parcel to that goal. So it's part of what we're doing constantly. These are just the two that are closest to the finish line with existing evidence.
Okay, so maybe we can come up with some information at the local level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, that'd be very good.
Yes, sir.
My name is Thomas McAndrew, and I just wanted to make mention of this Water's Edge Road matter. I represent all of the people on Water's Edge Road and Pawcatuck Avenue. And in 2017, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, there was a petition to establish a boat launch facility at Water's Edge Road. It's a narrow street, it's a dead ends into the water, and so on. And Scott Rabideau was retained to opine on that matter. And he determined that it did not meet CRMC regulations. And so that had to be abandoned. But the people in Water's Edge Road agreed with David Reese, who was at CRMC at the time, and with the town of Westerly to establish a kayak and boat rack facility at that site. And that's been there since 2017, 2018, without any problem. This site has historically been a town of Westerly right of way. It's in the Harbor Management Commission report. It's in the comprehensive plan of 2020, 2040. And it also,
They're just over there.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you, Leah. Thank you. And also it has been, when the town sought other things to happen down there, the police came down and the fire came down, and they've all said this wouldn't be safe to do these various things. But if the subcommittee intends to go forward with this particular recommendation at some point in time, the people of Water's Edge Road would like the opportunity to come and to bring their own people, their own experts and so on, town planners, the safety people who've historically opined on this matter, the fire chief, the police chief, and others, and so on and so forth. So I'm merely asking for the opportunity, when and if you move forward with this matter, that we be given notice and we given the opportunity to present our information to you so that you can make an informed and enlightened decision.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else, Leah? All right. Nothing. All right. Nothing else to come before us. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Yes, sir.
Can we have any certainty as to when the next Buttonwoods meeting is going to be?
We have an answer.
We don't have any certainty, Mr. Langstaff, but we do plan on having it in front of the subcommittee as soon as the next meeting.
Next meeting?
We don't have any certainty, but we plan on having it in front of the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Entertain a motion to adjourn the subcommittee.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Leah.